And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to All Sports Western New York. It's your old buddy Bob Kaczynski back with you. Another Tuesday night and a great summertime it is. We've got a terrific show lined up for you tonight. On the show tonight, first off, we'll be out at Jim Kelly's football camp. Jim is looking stronger than he has in months. We're going to hear from Jim as he talks about his healing process and even about the future ownership of the Buffalo Bills. And then in studio, Mike Harrington, writer extraordinaire from the Buffalo News, will be talking Sabres hockey and baseball. Of course, the All-Star game is taking place tonight. But first, let's go out to Jim Kelly's football camp behind Sweet Home High School, where Jim met with the media and talked about his return to the JK football camp and Buffalo Bills football.
So a month ago, what did you think the chances were of you being here at your own camp every day?
Well, I was going to be here no matter what. Depending on how much I would participate is another story. I played some flag football this morning, which felt pretty good, but after a while it started taking a toll, and I'm not used to it. I'm only in the walking phase now. Me and my wife and my brother Ray walk every morning, and that's really where I'm at now because I just get too winded right now. But, you know, I lost 51 pounds. And when you lose that much weight, it's going to take some time to get back. So I'm not a very patient person, and I want things to feel good right now, but unfortunately it doesn't yet.
Jim, you said you were in the walking phase, but you're throwing, you're bending down, you're yelling hike. Where do you find that strength?
I don't know. It's just the adrenaline flowing, and you know, it's my camp, and I've been doing it for 26 years, playing flag football with kids, and trust me, that wasn't moving too fast. Slowly but surely, I'll work into it. We'll see how I feel in the next couple of days.
Jim, you've chosen to make your battle very public, and you continue to do that. And I'm sure you talk with your wife and your daughters about that. How much do we say? Do we want to do this way? But you continue to make this a very public battle. How come?
At the beginning, it wasn't my idea. I think everybody knows me. I'm a very private person, but my wife and we all are Christians, and we know the more people praying for us, the better off we all are. And I agreed with her. I'm a Christian, and I know that wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for my faith and for all the people, not only right here in Buffalo, but all across the country, the letters, the prayers that we've received. And I hold that faith close by me. And that's really the reason. Even though we haven't, I've had to stop her a bunch of times, like, no, Jill, just for your sake and all of our sake, this is not going on Twitter or Facebook. And I had to say that a few times. But I do know that the support that I've gotten, the letters and emails and the prayers especially, have helped me get to where I'm at, because I've met a lot of kids and a lot of adults that are suffering from the same thing. And at times, especially early on, I didn't want to go too public with it because everybody has their own problems. They don't need to hear what Jim Kelly's problems are. But then the more I thought about it, the more I talked to my wife, the more I knew, the more prayers I had on my side, the better off I'm going to be. And by saying that, I feel pretty good. I know it's a very long and slow process, but in due time, I hope I'll be back to normal. But the big test is coming in August. It's the second or third week of August when I go in for my first MRI to be done after my chemo and radiation to see where the cancer, or if the cancer has left my body. But I just got back from MD Anderson in Houston, and they were checking to see if any cancer spread anywhere else, and thank God that it hasn't. So, but it takes a good 8 to 12 weeks for the radiation and the chemo to really kick in and do its job. And if you know anybody has cancer or been through radiation, they know that it takes some time because everything's radiated in my body. That's why I'm 51 pounds lighter. I have no saliva. I still eat through a JPEG. I'm still eating cans of food through my stomach and through a JPEG. I just started eating real food last week. I'm up to scrambled eggs. I ate some Emilio di Paolo Italian food last night, which was pretty good. Which is good. My taste buds are starting to come back, but they're not quite there yet. So I only had a half a plate. I told Elio or Dennis that I will get to where I can eat a full plate of pasta and of course, Italian food.
Jim, what's it like to be around kids, you know, at this, given everything you've been through, and to be out here and be surrounded with kids?
It's good to be around kids that are like boys. I'm around girls all the time. I have my two daughters, and my one daughter, my youngest daughter, has 4 or 5 friends over every night, It's like daddy and 8 girls. I'm not complaining. I love my girls to death, but it's good to be around and have fun and push some of the kids around. And I got my nephews, my brother Danny's kids come over a lot, so I get to mess with them. I take them hunting. So I finally talked my wife and my oldest daughter into getting her hunter safety course, so I'm going to be taking them hunting too. So at least I got, Hunter's not here, so at least I'm talking my oldest daughter Erin into doing a little hunting with Daddy, so that's exciting.
And how about being around with these kids with all the reality of things that you've been going through? You have a bunch of kids out here who are pretty oblivious to a lot of things that...
That's nice. It's nice when you can just run around and be yourself. I'm not saying I'm running around, but I'm moving as quickly as I can, and if you've seen me move in the past, I never really was that quick, but in due time, that'll all come back. But it's fun to just at least sweat. Everybody says, aren't you warm in that? I go, I need to sweat a little bit. I haven't done that in a long time. So I've lost a lot, even include most of my hair. But one of the good things about this is, I shouldn't say good thing, I had all my brothers and about 15 of my friends all shave their heads. And my oldest daughter, Erin, was going to shave hers. She said, Daddy, if you want me to shave it, I'm ready to do it. I go, no way. My daughter is not shaving her head. I said, no, Daddy's all right with this. You just go about doing what you're doing, and I'm proud of all of them because they're all ready to do it. My wife would have even shaved her head, but no thanks.
You've had time where, you've been in a position where you've kind of been forced to reflect a little bit. Have you taken any time at all to think about how many kids that you've touched here over the years that, some of them were kids then, they're parents now, right?
Oh, yeah, and some of the kids that I coached back in St. Bonaventure days are now parents that have their kids coming here. And, I mean, it's fun. I mean, I know how many players that came from my camp are in the NFL now, which is cool, about 5 or 6 guys, which is pretty nice. But, number one, I want them to have fun. This is not your typical camp where you're, pounding in them all the time. You want them to enjoy themselves. You want them to learn, especially as young adults. And one of the biggest things that I try to stress is our chalk talks with Mark Kelso and Mike Masters, all the guys that I have come to camp, that they are quality people. And one of the biggest things I always tell the kids, you are who you hang with. Because, I mean, that's the bottom line. Kids nowadays, especially with all social media, you are who you hang with, and show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. Your future's not very bright when you hang out with the wrong kids. And you just go to show, not only as young adults, but even in the NFL, in the NBA, Major League Baseball, you get with the wrong kids, you're going to turn out to be bad. So I try to stress that, and it's just not a camp where you want them to learn the physical part of it. Part of being Kelly tough is not only the physical part of it, but the mental part. Being able to pick out the right kids, being able to know what's right and what's wrong, paying attention to detail. I'm all about detail, and I always have been. That's one of the things I stress in my camp all the time, that you'll do all right as long as you pay attention, whether it's your teacher or your coach, you pay attention to detail.
Do you take some personal satisfaction from that, but just knowing just the longevity of this camp alone?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking, what, thousands of...
This is 27 years of doing it. If you would ask me 20 years ago if I would be here not doing this, I would have said I would hope to, but I don't know. But I feel good, and as long as I'm still able to walk and get out here, I'm going to be here.
Jim,
You're
we're talking about
talking
being
about the
Kelly
future
tough.
of the...
Were there any times when you were scared to death?
Oh, you get scared, especially when they tell you it's moved and it's moved to the maxillary part of your brain, and you just hope it doesn't move any further. And when you start talking about radiation chemo, I think about everybody else that I know, the people that I know with cancer. I never thought about it myself.
You said that when you told us a year ago that you had cancer, and you said, I don't want to go through chemo and radiation. I hope to God I don't have to, because I've seen what it does.
Now I've felt what it does, and it's not good. It's good in a sense that hopefully it'll get to a point, but I wouldn't be where I'm at, and this is honest God's truth. I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for, number one, my faith, but number two is the support I've gotten from, thousands and thousands of letters and emails and mass cards, and just people send me their good well wishes. And I tried to read every one, and I still have a big stack I haven't got through yet, but I can't return all of them, but I've returned some of them. Are really touching. But I do what I can, and when I'm in the hospital and I see the people that don't have anybody going into the room, I try to stop in to say hello and making sure to brighten their day a little bit, by just paying a visit. And I've met people that don't even know who I am. They came from another state, older people, but the bottom line is when you drop off the flowers, they're in your room to somebody else, and as long as it puts a smile on their face, you know why you did it.
Jim, where's your pursuit of the Buffalo Bills ownership right now? Now that you're feeling a little bit stronger, are you involved in that?
Really, it's still a long way. For me personally, my brother Dan's been working on a lot, but we've talked to a number of people, and I'm not going to mention anybody. A lot of them are people that are non-disclosure that I can't mention now, but I'm just doing what I can to make sure the Bills stay in Buffalo, and things really haven't changed. Yes, I've met with different people, and I hope it gets to a point where that we finally get somebody that is really committed to Buffalo and committed to turning this program around and to be playing football in January. And that's what I always try to tell them. I told the players that too, that I'm tired of playing games in December. I'm used to playing in January. Let's get this thing turned around. Let's start getting some games here. So we'll see what happens.
Do they talk about you being a part owner, or do they talk about you? Do they talk with you, Jim, more because they figure if we get number 12 on our side, we're the one?
Well, number one, I don't want to team up with just one person right now. I'd be stupid to. I don't know who's going to get it. I don't have the money to buy the Bills. I didn't make the money these guys are making today, and they can't even afford it. But, yeah, there's a number of people that have approached us about my role, what I would do. And with different people, there's different roles. And I know what I want to do, but that will be said down the road a little bit later. But the bottom line is I'm just like everybody here. If you're a local media, you just want it to be the Buffalo Bills and not somebody else.
So is it safe to say you're a part of a group that...
I am not a part of any group right now. I'm a part of my group, my brother, myself, and a few others. But right now, there's majority owners out there that are trying to do what they do their due diligence and make sure that they do the right thing and do everything by the book, which when you get in this part of a big a deal, you have to do it the right way and do it how it's supposed to be done. And the Bills and, of course, the NFL have it structured how it's supposed to be done, and you got to follow the routine.
You've said in the past that you're confident that the Bills will stay in Buffalo. Do you still feel that way?
Oh, yeah, I still feel that way. And I know names that are really interested and plan on putting a bid in. We don't know where that bid will go. I do feel that the LA Clippers made a big dent in it. Some people will disagree with that. I agree that I think it did make a dent in how all franchises are looked at nowadays. With the tons of media there, the amount of money that the NFL now gives to each team, I think the money will go up. But we know where we think it should be. But, of course, to me, it doesn't matter as long as they're the Buffalo Bills.
And right after that, Hollywood actor and Western New York native Bill Fichtner and Jim Kelly, well, they wanted to have their picture taken with me, so I obliged. But it was great to see Jim out there, and Bill is a fan. He wanted to come out and talk to him as well. We had a great time out at Jim Kelly camp. We'll have more on Jim as the weeks and months move ahead. When we come back, Mike Harrington will be in studio. We'll be talking Buffalo Sabres hockey and then a little bit of baseball right after this on All Sports Western New York.